Lightweights looking for UFC #1 coming up this weekend. We have Glory MMA Fitness's own Trey Samurai Ghost Ogden taking on the UFC debutant. It's Golden Boy Daniel Zellhuber. And Matt, when it comes to this one, I'm not in love with Samurai Ghost or Golden Boy, but it does come down to a very well-matched fight at lightweight and a little bit of a contrast of styles. And I really do like this fight because for Trey Ogden, and I'm going to roll the clip, if you do look at it, I mean, for Dana White, he had this to say about Trey Ogden on Dana White's Looking for a Fight.
He looked incredible on his feet. He looked unbelievable on the ground. The problem with him is he's like 30 or 31 years old.
When it does come down to it, he wasn't happy that Trey Ogden was 30 or 31 years old. He's a few months away from his 33rd birthday at this point. So for Ogden, the clock is ticking. You get a prime fighter in those prime years making his debut. And for Ogden, he was coming off of a win over JJ Okanovich on that show. And if you watch the highlights from the YouTube show, it's like, wow, this is a really well-matched fight. No, it's so close. And Okanovich is such a good fighter. Trey Ogden looked really good in that fight. He did. And he mopped him in that one. So then he comes in and he fights a guy that you know and love in Jordan Leavitt. And Ogden was actually the favorite in that fight, which was a bit of a surprise when we made the video. We both took Jordan Leavitt. Didn't think the fight was going to go the way the fight went because Jordan Leavitt won a fight in a way I've never seen it won before. He won by throwing only leg kicks, defending punches and takedowns, and getting top control time. It is not the most aesthetically pleasing fight to watch.
No, we go back and rewatch the fight so you don't have to. Trey Ogden didn't. I don't even know what to take. Like, okay, he couldn't defend takedowns from a very high-level wrestler. That's fine. Like, not a lot of guys can defend a lot of takedowns from a guy like Jordan Leavitt. It's just the fact that Ogden wasn't able to land much of substance against a guy who wasn't offering much resistance on the feet. That was the big takeaway I had that was a little bit concerning. There just wasn't a lot of damaging shots. That's the problem. If you're going...
Ogden's credited with the only takedown. Leavitt isn't credited with any, but if you do look at it in the scrambles, in the exchanges, this and that, Leavitt got top control, and that's pretty much it. But it was a really controversial split decision fight because a lot of people thought that Trey Ogden won that one.
It was just a weird one, though, because it was, okay, do you want to take the strikes of Ogden or just sort of the weirdness and top control, and just control, I guess, of Leavitt in that matchup? It was just a really weird fight. Again, I cannot sum it up any better than that. I think there's a better version of Trey Ogden locked in there, though. It was similar to what I had said about Nikolas Motta against Jim Miller. You can't do any worse than you did in that one, so we're going to see a better version. But for Ogden, I do like his boxing combinations. He's someone who does mix it up very well too. He can throw with volume and with power. He's not just set in one of those two styles. The problem is, if you do offer that wrestle threat, if you are a fighter who can fight with a lot of range, he will struggle in both of those capacities. So it would be nice if Trey Ogden would maybe go for his own takedown every now and then. Just mix it up a little bit. And I know he's capable of it. It feels like he's stuck in a gear every now and then. It would just be nice to see him use more variety in his fighting style.
Because we'll see the boxing and then a reset, a weight. We'll see the really nice high kick. We didn't really see it much in that fight against Jordan Leavitt, but the best part to Trey Ogden's game is his offensive and defensive grappling. He's very, very good in those positions, and Leavitt's also very good in those positions. And you might be low on Leavitt because he lost to Paddy Pimblett, but just understand that Trey Ogden is a good grappler. You see it in the stat line, 11 wins by submission, and he can do it in a lot of different ways, but he is more of a single shot striker. He does have good takedown defense. Now, we're going to talk about the debuting fighter, all the shine, undefeated, Daniel Zellhuber, a kid that's, and I say kid because he turned a pro at the age of 17. We have a fighter on Contender Series week 11 that's going to have to get his parents to sign a permission slip because he's 17 and he's going to take a fight. Daniel Zellhuber was in that realm, making his pro debut back in September of 2016. And boy, is he ever an impressive prospect. And you hate to make a big-time comparison between Zellhuber and somebody else that's in the UFC, but Ignacio Bahamondes was that type of long, rangy, lightweight kickboxer type of striker. And when I look at Zellhuber, pretty much the same. I mean, Bahamondes might have a few inches of, height, reach is about the same.
He does on most middleweights, though.
But from Zellhuber, holy crow. I mean, this guy's really strong and really tall, and he almost has to kind of duck down to fight a lot of these guys. But when Zellhuber throws those kicks, there's so much power. When he implements his strikes, so much power. My big knock on Zellhuber before Dana White's Contender Series was kind of like Trey Ogden in a little bit of it. Single shot, reset, kick, reset, question mark, kick, reset. But when you watched him on Contender Series, first round Lucas Almeida, who Dana said after their fight, he said, man, Almeida lost the fight, but I'd love to sign him even if he was able to get back into the UFC. And Almeida did that, so credit to him. But first round Zellhuber Almeida, Almeida hits Zellhuber with the kitchen sink and a sledgehammer and doesn't knock him out.
It's
and
kinda
then
wild.
round 2, round 3, Zellhuber is able to just rally. Almeida's kind of tired in those rounds, but Zellhuber is able to show out. I really do like the overall kind of bare bones of his game. He's a really impressive fighter.
And it is really nice to see a fighter like him, a power-punching striker, build as the fight goes on. Like, that's normally one of the question marks you have around that fighting style. It's okay, they come with a big storm a la Rumble Johnson, but after the storm's gone, there's not much you have to deal with. So it was really nice to see Zellhuber build as that fight continued, and if he's able to do that in the UFC, while defending a lot of takedowns, while fighting at a very high pace, I could see him having a lot of success at this level, and at only 23 years of age, like you had mentioned, he's gonna get better, and quite a bit better every single time we see him out there. That's why this matchup against Ogden should be interesting, though. It could be sort of a stale first round, if we're being honest. I could see them both going out there, having a bit of an extended feeling out process until Ogden does start to feel uncomfortable on the feet. Then I do think he will mix in the takedown, but the real question mark is he going to be able to take Zellhuber down? Because if Daniel's able to keep it on his feet, I do give him the advantage in that round.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, when you do consider it, Zellhuber talked about switching camps. He talked about coming to the States, wanted to make a name in the States. He's fought for Lux, big fight organization, Icon, and Combate. But if you do look at it and you go into his Instagram, June and July, Tiger Muay Thai. He's training with the Agapova brothers. Where are they at, Matt? One was supposed to make his UFC debut. Where have you been? He was also training with Zabara Takugov, who's a great guy to train with for a matchup like this. He's rounding it out at Extreme Couture. So, Tiger Muay Thai, you might not think of a grappling gym, but the training partners can grapple in Extreme Couture. That's exactly where you're going to be able to put that work in. If you look at it for Trey Ogden, very credited, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. He is one of the coaches at the Glory MMA and Fitness's Overland Park location, and he can get it done on the mat. So when it does come down to it, love the experience that Zellhuber has on the regional scene. Some of the names, not that great. His win kind of going on to Dana White's Contender Series was over a less than stellar fighter making his pro debut. But the wins that he has over Barriault, he was able to defend the takedowns by using the ropes, because Icon was fighting on the ropes that night, and get into mount. And he was also able to get a win over Miguel Arizmendi, whose record's 8-8 now. It was 8-4 when they fought. But Arizmendi fought, and I want to make sure I get this right, he fought Renato Valdez, Zellhuber, and then Michael Morales all back-to-back. All UFC fighters now. So it is a good level competition that he has faced. It's just, can he beat guys that are kind of in that mid-range before he gets up there? Or can Trey Ogden kind of turn away a prospect, which he wasn't necessarily able to do in his debut? And can he just ascend up the rankings in his prime age?
This feels like a parlay buster, if there ever was one for this card. Because for Zellhuber, I do think he does have the higher ceiling. I do expect him to get the win in this matchup. Like, that is the pick. But the well-rounded game of Trey Ogden is one where, okay, let's say he is struggling on the feet. He takes a beating. He could just somehow work his way into a submission. He's got that type of style to him. So this is a very volatile fight, even though Zellhuber does seem to be quite a big favorite.
Zellhuber is a pretty big favorite. Open a minus 240, is minus 260 right now. If you look at it for Trey Ogden, open plus 200, plus 210 or thereabouts. We have a look at the Tapology votes, Matt. Surprised us there to you. I bet fans don't like Trey Ogden very much, and I'm going to say over under 80% Daniel Zellhuber.
80? I'll say under, but it'll be the favorite.
It is over 823 total votes, 89% Zellhuber, 28% by decision, 6% by submission, 60% by knockout for the 11% that have Ogden, 60% by decision, 18% by submission, 9% by knockout. I think if Ogden wins, and it's not a hot take, it's going to be by submission. Daniel Zellhuber, in some of his fights coming up, was susceptible to getting taken down, and as I mentioned, his second to last fight, or third to last fight, he was defending takedowns, but bouncing off the rope and getting on top of his opponent, something that obviously you can't do in the cage. I love the kicks out of Zellhuber. He will throw a question mark kick, which we love. He'll throw teeps to the body. He'll throw great leg kicks. He has really good volume when he decides to use it, and he has a pretty good gas tank. Trey Ogden, to me, feels like he could be the kryptonite to everything that Zellhuber has. It's just, can he not get knocked out?
That's why I've got Golden Boy. I think he's going to be able to land enough power shots on the feet to make a difference and to really make those damaging shots count in the mind of the judges. And that's why I've got Zellhuber in this one.
Going with Zellhuber as well. I think he's a very, very good striker. And again, like you said, it feels like that big warning, popping popcorn right next to it. Because just about the entire time I was watching the tape, I thought, hey, Trey Ogden's got this one in the bag. I just think Zellhuber is that kind of special striker. So for me, going with Mexico is Daniel Zellhuber. Had a Mexican striker who I thought was all that in a bag of popcorn in Melissa Martinez last weekend. She loses to Elise Reed. Both of us with Zellhuber in this one. Let us know who you have down below because Trey Ogden feels like a pretty good underdog pick if you're going to go that way. If you like Zellhuber, let us know as well. Main event this weekend. Corey Sandhagen taking on Song Yadong. You're not going to want to miss it. Keep it locked in with Fight Night Picks, we always say.
Let's get into it.